location of a hot seat. Oh!
That feels good.
Well, I think it's working. Holy! It's hot in here. Frank, how'd you get in the boat? Hey, Frankie, what did you do? Now what?
Now what? We were saving Lena from the quicksand, and Frankie decided to get in the boat.
Frankie's gonna jump. Frankie,
Frank.
what did you do?
What about the boat?
Now go get the boat. We're going to revisit the sauna, and we're going to do some of the stuff that I wanted to do when it was really cold in the wintertime. When I built it, it was kind of frozen, and the ground and the landscaping out front never really got done. So, and then the step was kind of like a makeshift step in order to get in because the ground was frozen. I couldn't do anything with it. Frankie, are you my branch manager? Are you my branch manager? You take care of all the branches, right? Like, yep, and I eat grass. Delicious grass. Winter's coming. Winter's coming again. I don't know if you guys know that, but it's on its way. We're in late August now. Oh, winter's coming. Nights are getting longer, days are getting shorter. So last year when we were running this thing, what I found was there was a lot of air getting sucked out through the door and or sucked in through the door and not allowing the space to heat up. And I think there's a couple issues with that. One primarily is the chimney is rather large, so there's a great draft, great for making fires, but kind of bad for kind of heating stuff up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install a fresh air intake into this stove in order to use outside combustion air as opposed to our warm inside air for combustion, and then some upper level seating because that's important. Pebble tile. My buddies down at Bigelow had some stuff left over, so we ended up getting it from them. Last couple of days we've had some pretty wicked winds, a thunderstorm, and that tree came down and, well, it missed everything. Joe, the arborist guy, that my buddy Joe and I, we looked at it when we were taking down the poplar that was threatening the cube, and we looked at that one and said, yeah, it's gonna come down. And I predicted it was gonna land about here, and sure enough, it did. So that's probably first order of business, is to get rid of this tree. It's an ash tree. It's crazy because it had full leaves on it. So maybe this was one of the ash trees that wasn't gonna get eaten by that bug, the emerald ash borer. But anyways, it was poorly developed when it was young, and it's got nasty crotch. Can't have those nasty crotches because the tree's split in the wind. This is my theory. Okay, so every time I've ever processed firewood, I've always kind of gone, anything 4 inches or less, I kind of gone because it's not worth processing, and primarily because operating a chainsaw when you're cutting tiny little branches is not ideal. So this is my KebTech pruner thing. I'm still pretty much running it through its paces. They sent me this to try out, so I'm gonna give it a little bit of a workout. It's got a little extension pole here. It's got a 25-volt battery pack right here. You clip it on. Somewhat of a learning curve. There we go, like that. Double trigger. KebTech. There'll be a link in the description below, but I'm gonna see how well or how many times I can cut. It's even got like a little odometer in there. It tells you how many times you've cut things. Even in the sauna, if you've got like sticks like this big, you could feed them into the sauna, no problem. But you gotta cut them. That's the drawback of cutting little tiny firewood. But I guess if you cut really big firewood, you've got to split it down to small pieces. So 6 of one, half dozen the other. I'm always kind of liking firewood, so let's give this guy a whirl. I find anytime you're cutting up a tree like that, for firewood especially, if you can start from the top down, it seems to work a lot easier because you're not usually fighting, a compression and getting your saw pinched. There we go, we got the work done. Work done to do some more work. Some thinking. Okay, I want to do fresh air intake, but first I gotta empty some stuff out of here. Empty some stuff and then devise a plan to try to get fresh air intake into that. So when I originally built this stove, it's a pipe slid inside a pipe. There's nothing actually anchoring it down. Well, apparently it's anchored down by extreme weight. I think I have to take the rocks out of it in order to... There's a back metal part that I need to cut through in order to get the fresh air intake in, but I can't kind of get at it from the front side. I gotta get at it from the back side. Oh, I gotta move some rocks. Maybe it's just stuck to the floor. Oh, it's moving, sort of. I don't weigh enough. Ah. Oh, come on. After careful consideration, I decided against putting the fresh air intake through the stove. And the problem is that I would have to make a hole through the front of the stove. I would have to make a hole through the back of the stove. Again, outside of the firebox. And then I would have to make a hole through the cement board, and then through the wood, and then outside. And then I was thinking, that's a terrible idea. That would be a lot of work, and I don't know, it just wouldn't look right, because it would kind of like be asymmetrical. It would come out the side of the firebox, and then it wouldn't be right next below the floor or below the door itself, kind of off to the side. So then I came up with an idea, and my idea is to make a hole in the floor. Why not make a floor register? There is somewhat of a crawl space, a really, really crawly space down below, and it is vented. It's like a pebble tile, pebble stone tile. It's on a mesh. Run out. Look at that. Anyways, that gets stuck to the back wall, and it's gonna look very nice, very, very nice. Whenever I'm using a pebble tile that's on a fiberglass backing, or actually I don't even use fiberglass anymore, it's more like a plastic mesh backing, I like to cut the tiles off of it, because they're keyed, right? So they fit in, but you can always see the pattern. So what I like to do is actually cut the rock off and then place individual stones, and then you don't have to ever cut any tile. Well, it's time to get the stone stretcher out. Turns out I don't have enough pebbles. This is a 3x3 area roughly, which is 9 square feet. It turns out that box only contained about 6 square feet. Although this takes up a square foot, and it's 36 by 30 inches, so it's not quite 9 feet. Anyways, I don't have enough tile. Don't have enough stone. So I'm going to separate these tiles a little bit, stones a little bit more to fill in the gaps, and then it'll mostly be built out of grout. These stones, whenever you do them, they're notoriously hungry for grout, because there's about the spaces in between them. And I might have stacked them a little tighter, because I knew that when you grout it, it eats a lot of grout. So if you get it tighter, then you don't use as much grout, but then you don't have enough tile. And although down here is not so critical, because you can't actually see it, it's behind the stove. I probably should have used some large format tile thin set, because these things are a little heavy and they seem to be falling off. There's one. Gotta make sure these things stay stuck. Now that we wait for that tile to set, we can do something else. Plan now is to gather some material to make the benches. Now I'm gonna use traditional sauna wood, which I didn't know was traditional sauna wood is aspen, which in my neck of the woods, it's called also poplar. Who knew? I didn't know. I thought cedar was the only thing that was ever in saunas, but I'm told that aspen or poplar is a good substitute, or it is a ideal wood for that. Multi-layer bench. I haven't quite figured out the plan yet, but I don't have the wood. So I'm going to start with the wood, and then something will come to me. I kind of want a recliner. I want to be able to lean back, relax, but I also want an upper level in order to get up above the stove, because that's where my heat seems to be hanging out. And as I'm told, there are usually multi-levels in a sauna depending on what temperature you want. But first, we got to start with some wood. So I've been saving this guy. It's up off the ground. I peeled the bark, so it's got its little chance to dry out and kind of season it in place. Originally it was sitting right here in front of the cube, and we had to drop it because it was dead and leaning over top of the cube. So we just we dropped it over there into the pile, and it's been there ever since, drying out. But it is very, very straight. Ideal. It is. Look how much material we can get out of that guy right there. That's That's about 1 hand wide. Let's get the tractor over here, get this thing out, cut some, I think 2x2 roughly material, some stuff, and then it'll be nice. This stuff, what's really nice about poplar is that you can sand it out and really make it smooth, but we gotta wait for it to dry first. So we're gonna cut it, rough cut it, build our things, and then after that, we can sand it out once it's dry. Dry it out in the sauna, right? It's like a giant kiln. Well, that turned out okay. Have a look at that. It seems to be the right side seemed to sit flat, and the left side seems to have sagged a little bit. I don't know if it has something to do with my thin set was a little more watery than on the right side. It was the same batch. It just seems like left side sagged and the right side didn't. But overall, it looks pretty uniform. Once that thing's grouted, it looks like $1,000,000. Very modern looking, nice and soft. So this is a great opportunity to use every single different grout color you have, because surprisingly enough, the pebble tile takes an enormous amount of grout. So what I like to do is, if I have any grout left over, what I do is I mix them all together and generally have enough. Otherwise, you'd have to go out and get yourself, a 25-pound bag or so. I got some black, got some chocolate, got some more black. We're gonna mix it all in one big bucket, swirl it around, slap it on. It'll be good to go. You gonna help grout, Bean? Are you gonna grout this for me? What do you think? Hey, do you want to grout this? You're good at grouting, eh, buddy? My grout dog? Waiting truly is the hardest part of the grouting process. I just grouted. I've probably waited about 10-15 minutes now, and I can still grab it like goopiness. It hasn't hardened up at all, and because it's so thick, I don't want to clean it off quite right yet. But I don't want to wait too long because it'll harden like a rock, and then I won't be able to clean it off at all. So kind of gotta wait. It's like making muffins. You gotta make sure you put the toothpick in and you pull it out, and it's not full of batter still. Well, I might have waited a little bit too long for that grout. It seemed to have set up, or it's just the way that tile is or that stone is. I can't remember. I remember it being a real pain in the butt. And the problem was that if you didn't wait long enough, you were taking too much material out between, and if you waited too long, it was really hard to get it out. So I think I waited a little bit too long, and it was a lot of work. There's some grout on my face. Anyways, it's done. It looks pretty good. There'll be a final polish after that stuff sets up. There'll be like a gray haze that appears on the stone, and then you kind of buff it out with cheesecloth. And I ended up finding one of these guys. It was a cast off on one. I guess somebody ordered one, and it was no good for them. So it's good for me. This is going to be my cold air intake. I've been doing some actually looking inside the stove, and I've got some modifications I'm gonna make to that. But you'll have to keep watching for that. Anyways, let's get this thing back in place. Let's grind a hole and keep upgrading. I don't know if you guys can see in that hole, but I saddled on both sides of a joist with those 2 holes. It couldn't have worked out any better than it did. My half plan was to actually drill 3 holes, but after I drilled the 2 holes, and I see the joist right in the middle, it's almost like it was planned that way. That's a lot of combustion air. Did you see the cross section of foam? There's the OSB with the Ditra Schluter membrane. Ditra made by a company called Schluter. And then after that was the 5/8 OSB and then the garage door panels underneath that I drilled through. So it was a lot of work. My drill was acting up, so it didn't go as quickly as I thought it was going to. Holy. If you guys are just joining me and don't exactly know what this thing is, this thing started out life as a Weissmann boiler. I think that's German for heavy. So it was an indoor boiler. It used to feed like in-floor heating or radiators. And then when I got it from my buddy, I ended up cutting it up, making sort of a pan on the top of it in order to hold rock for my sauna. And I find what's happening now is the heat's getting sucked right out of it because I have a really good chimney and there's no baffle at the back. And as you guys might have pointed out in the comments when I first built it, there's a bunch of fins inside that seem to be taking up room, but they don't really add anything to the process. The heat exchanger.
This is what I'm talking about, the fins inside here. I think they're taking up just space. I'm gonna have more room for wood. I'm gonna knock some of these guys out. Maybe put a baffle right where you guys are sitting, the baffle down so the fire doesn't go straight out.
Because I think the fins were originally designed to heat water. They would extract the heat out and then radiate it to the outside, and then the water would carry the heat on. Let's see if we can actually modify this thing to work a little bit better. It was working adequately. I just figured it's not working to its full potential. So I just want to revisit that, maybe give it a coat of paint if I can find some of that and make it all pretty, you know, system maintenance. Well, they're coming off slowly but surely. You can see they're cast iron. I think they're inserts that are actually glued on to the perimeter of it. I was trying to get the cold chisel in there to kind of pry out the sections of the cast. They don't seem to want to come out. Maybe I'll take the back side off and see if I can get at it through there. Knock some more fins out. Oh, success! Holy! If I had $1 million, I'd use furniture for your house. Maybe a nice field ottoman. Certainly wouldn't be banging on this thing. A nice Reliant automobile. Change of plans, maybe. Pry bar. Maybe they'll just come out in big sections. These are kind of cool. If I could get them out in one piece. Well, I think I got as many fins as I possibly can get out. I can't get my hammer in there any further to kind of bash any more out. So that'll have to do. Maybe when they get heated up and cooled down and heated up and cooled down, they get brittle and I'll be able to just hit them while they're in the sauna, you know, and you got enough energy. Maybe just bash off a couple of the fins, get more of a firebox. I think leaving the ones at the top will actually help in the end. Because you'll still be able to get the ashes out and you'll get the heat transfer from the top. So I made this little baffle, and what that's going to do is going to slow the smoke down, kind of give a little place for the heat, the hot gases to hang out near the top of the stove before exiting out the chimney. The smoke will stay at the top. That's my goal with this thing, and hopefully it heats up a little bit more. That, coupled with the fact that you have so much more firebox to actually put more wood in there. If not, we just go back to the drawing board, right? Let's weld this thing in, get this thing put back together, and maybe get it painted and get it back down to the shop. First, we weld some more stuff. High heat paint. New and improved sauna stove, now 10% lighter. it.
Today we're gonna hit a coconut.
Yeah.
It's right there.
All right. Let's see. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna bang it and make it.
What is it? What is it first? You got to explain what it is.
It's a coconut.
Were you eating a coconut?
Yeah, I was drinking it.
Oh, so it's got a little hole in it? And you're gonna crack it open with a hammer.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, it's rolling.
Oh no, the coconut rolled away.
Oh, it's dirty.
Still good.
The inside's still good.
You want me to hit it?
Yeah, you hit it. I'll close my ears.
All right, hang on.
Can I have the camera?
Do you think I should just hit it?
Hit it.
They're hard?
Yeah.
And what do you think it's gonna do?
Crack. But usually the sides are supposed to be right, not the inside of this.
Do you think it's good?
Let's try it.
All right.
Try a piece.
That's the worst that's gonna happen, right? Coconut.
Huh. Yuck.
You can't have too much at all.
So I picked this little guy up last year. This is a little blue boat. I'm not exactly what sort of boat it is, but it's a little blue boat for a tiny little pond. And I had to give a shout out to my buddy Mark over at Property Link. He gave me this boat. He was doing like a clean out, like a residential, I don't know if it was a commercial clean out or residential clean out. Anyways, he's the same guy that gave me those patio stones. So he gave me a boat and he said, give me a shout out. So there's your shout out, Mark. Thanks for the boat. We're going to give it a whirl. The wife is going to take Lena and they're going to go on the pond. You guys up for this? You guys going to not sink?
We'll try.
All right, let's launch the boat. You ready?
The pond is like not.
You ready?
Ready, push.
Just hit the middle. You ready?
Ready.
If you capsize, just stand up. Maybe Frankie will get in the boat.
Yeah, no, thank you.
She's got to get in the
I
boat.
want to get in the boat.
Get in the boat, Frankie. Get in the boat, Frankie.
No, don't
Go.
get in the boat, Frankie.
Go get the boat. Frankie, get in the boat.
We're gonna hit shore.
Oh no!
Sure.
I just wanted to get a quick coat of primer on these windows, and it wasn't that the steam in the sauna was the culprit, the reason why the paint peeled. It was because they were sitting in the bush too long and the water got to them. So I didn't get a chance to do that when I actually built the sauna because everything was covered in ice. So now that it's dried out and I was able to scrape them and paint them, so I've got a nice coat of primer. But then I was thinking my next plan was to sand the benches, and then I was like, well, I got wet paint. I'm gonna have dust all in my paint. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm going to work on my hot seat, which I'm dubbing it. It's going to be the upper level bench that's going to allow me to sit up above the stove and get a little hotter. So these benches are at stove height, and that one's gonna be the hot seat. So let's build that now. I won't create that much dust doing that, and once my paint is dry, I'll be able to sand the fuzzes off my bench and make them nice and smooth. I'm also thinking of like a recliner here, so I can actually lay down and then kind of like an Adirondack chair. So if you don't want to be extra hot, you don't have to be, you can just kind of relax. The current temperature in here is 74.8 Fahrenheit, 72% humidity, and that's just the outside temperature. It is humid today. It's like a sauna. I gotta stop saying that. All right, let's make a bench. This is the location of a hot seat. This is not a hot seat. Up here is a hot seat. I want to be able to make a bench that I can sit right up here. Perfect. And then I'm up near the ceiling and it's hot. Hot up here. Figure out how tall I want it. Tall, wide. What's the height of a standard chair? Let's measure my leg. It's about 18, 19 to the bend. I just assume everybody's leg's that long. 18. We're gonna go 18 to the finished height of this hot seat. And that'll get me up above the stove into the hot zone. I don't know, let's see where we go with this. gonna be so much hotter up here. You got the level you're at now, your feet at the top of the stove. And from what I've read in the comments, that's where you want to be. Right at the top of the stove. Solid bench. This is aspen or poplar. The authentic wood. So the next thing I was thinking of doing is maybe you want to cool down a bit and you don't want to be so hot. So what you want to do is maybe you want to just relax. So I'm thinking, what if you had a recliner? Like this, and then support your back. Oh yeah, and put a little pillow up there. I don't know, maybe an angled piece, removable, so you can get rid of it if it's in the road. And there's gonna be a lot of you guys that are gonna say, well, why didn't you sand it first? Well, this stuff here is, you know, I guess it's virgin poplar. It's not quite dry yet. So I can't think of a better place to dry it out than in a sauna. You get a dry sauna, you dry all the wood out, and then you take your sander and you sand it all out. It's nice and smooth. That's what I'm gonna do with these lower benches. These are well seasoned, they're all dried out, so I can make these nice and smooth. This guy will be smoothed later date once it's dried out. But that's a solid bench. Just gotta make one on the other side, and Bob's your uncle. It was good news. Dawn showed up. Hey, Dawn.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, I guess it is.
It's lunchtime, anyways. So as it turns out, time to time, people reach out to me and they want to send me new gadgets, and I always usually say, yeah, send me the gadgets. I'll check it out. So this guy here is an AGM H3. It hasn't even come out yet. I believe it's coming out on Tuesday, which will be last Tuesday, because this video is being released on Saturday. This is the AGM H3. What's really cool about it is it's got a 12 megapixel infrared night camera, and anytime they send me one, I always say send me two, because what I do as I hook Dawn up, here you go, Dawn, here's your AGM H3.
Thank you very much. Wow.
You can you know what you can do is you can walk around your neighborhood in the dark and
Watch out, neighbors.
you can look at things in the dark. That'd be kind of cool. You don't have to open it if you don't want. You I think it's got multiple sims. It's rugged. Anyways, you guys can check them out. There'll be a link in the description below. Again, AGM. I'm gonna see if I can actually film some cool stuff tonight. I think I'm gonna have a sauna later on tonight, and I'm gonna film some stuff in the dark just to give you guys a first-hand look at this thing. It's kind of neat. AGM H3.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Enjoy. Look, it's got all the bubble wrap on it and everything. Shiny and new.
So deserving of this.
Oh well, you deserve it. Like I said, anytime they send me one free thing, they gotta send me two. Cause Dawn, gotta hook a brother up, right? All right, let's get back to work. That pretty much sums that up. Done sanding for the day. Well, that pretty much wraps up the sanding for the day. That sander decided to, well, you saw. Catching fire. I got a bucket. Next night to the pond. I don't know, I think it's salvageable. There we go. No more flaming sander. Look how smooth this bench is. Nice and sanded. The other bench, not so much. I wonder if it still works. I wonder if I can replace that part. Doesn't appear as though the whole thing burnt, just the bottom part of it. You warranty that. What you building there, Don?
I'm just, well, we're going to use these for making some benches at the sauna.
The cool down benches.
Cool down benches.
Looks like you need a cool down bench right about now.
We could use one right now. It did well.
Did well. Did lots of cuts.
Did lots of cuts. So.
It comes with 2 batteries. I'll go grab the other battery.
Well, I think
You might have enough?
I might have enough. I got 3, 4. Well, I guess we could start anyways.
Yeah. The plans with these cedar poles are to make a cool down bench outside both windows on the right and the left. So we took out some cedar poles, we lopped off all those little branches, and then we're going to cut them to size and make some sort of a frame. Here you go.
Look at that. Is it done, you think?
Do you want to plug it in?
No. Whoa, that's warm.
It was on fire just moments ago.
Yeah.
Oh well, maybe
That's
they'll warranty
the end
that.
of that one.
You think they'll warranty that?
I don't know. Pretty good. How long have you had it?
I don't know. Beginning of time.
I think it's reached the end of its life.
I think if just this rubber thing, if you take that off, you might be able to like, see, there's like screws there. You might be able to get a new pad.
Possibly.
I don't know. Oh well. So we're doubling our efficiency on our windows. These are the old school windows. They are not thermal, well, I guess they are thermal pane, but you can remove the pane so you don't have to worry about the condensation forming on the middle because it's not completely sealed. This one's a little dirty. I've washed the inside pane, but I haven't washed the outside. So I'm just gonna place it in, clip it in, then I can wash the outside.
It's not, like I said, not terrible.
Maybe some slats in the middle of the slats. Some thinner slats. I don't know, I think it's pretty comfortable. I like how you can get your head, you know, you get your towel and you put your towel right behind your head and it kind of straightens you out. I like it. I think it works perfect. And then if you want, you just take your bench, you take your little leaning thing out and you put it to the side and you go sit up in the hot seat. You want to demonstrate the hot seat.
Well, I'm just wondering, would this be nice to have as
like
a leg rest?
There you go.
Like that, why not?
Oh!
That feels good.
Does that feel good?
Yeah.
There you go. Maybe the rant thing should stay.
Yep.
So this whole upgrade build was actually powered by the Jackery Explorer 1500, and that is a lithium power pack that we use. We plugged all our power tools in. That thing has a lot of power, 1800 watts maximum, our continuous usage. It can power your DC devices, your AC devices. It also has a USB port, so if you want to charge your phone or whatnot, it can be charged by either you bring it to your house and you plug it into the wall and it's got fast charging that way, or you can actually hook it up to your car through DC pack or the DC adapter to plug it into your car. You can also use solar panels, and you can hook up to a maximum of 4 solar panels with a 400 watt capacity on that guy in order to do that. So I did line voltage and then plugged it in, and we're still at 45% on the entire, I guess, the duration of the upgrade. So it's doing really well. So that's the Jackery Explorer 1500 pack. Let's start on the outside. We've got our proper cooling down benches, and now we've got these nice little backrests. So you sit down and then you can rest your back. Nice and comfortable. Kind of have your head back. Nice cooling down benches. There's his and hers, or his and his, or there's hers and hers. See, there's one there. It's on the other side. Got the benches. Outside hasn't changed a whole lot, but the inside is where it's at. So what we've done is we've got the upper level benches, which is like the hot seat. You can get your feet above the lowest point of the stove. We've also got reclining benches, which is if you want to just kind of relax and lay down. Maybe you got your towel behind your head. Oh, that's comfortable too. Everything about this thing is comfortable. And then if you want to sit up above, you can just kind of crawl up under the hot seat. And then it's even got the leg rests. You can just sit there. And then the other modifications we did was the fresh air intake on the stove, which allows us to have complete fresh combustion air for the stove. And we knocked out almost every single one of the fins on the inside of the stove. So it gives us more room for wood, and it'll increase our temperature more quickly. It'll be easier to clean. Give her a nice paint job. And then we've got our backsplash is all done, our little pebble stone with our grout, and like we had before, our fresh air intake up here. So that completes the upgrade. We got some of the sanding done, but the sander caught fire. So we got one bench still left to sand, but that's not a big deal. I'm just gonna sit outside, cooling off. The cooling off benches. cool off before I heat up. It's getting hot in here. Whew. 94.2, 66% humidity. I got my sausage on the rocks. I'm gonna see if I can actually cook a sausage. Whew. It's getting sweaty. I don't know if my camera's gonna be able to handle this. You can see I'm getting red in the face. Oh, 94.4. It's hot, it's hot, it's hot. It's supposed to get hotter. The forecast says hotter. We're gonna keep loading that thing full of wood. It's been about 10 minutes or so it doesn't take that long to heat up. I'm pleased to announce the fresh air intake on the bottom here. You can actually feel the cool air coming up through the thing, feeding the stove. It's not sucking it out through the door. We don't have the draft coming all the way down. I'm pretty excited about that. That was one of the primary goals was actually the fresh air intake for the stove. So I'm really pleased with that. And what's cool about that thing is it actually doubles as a drain. I'm going to, I haven't quite done it yet, but I'm going to seal around the 2 holes. So if there's ever any splashing of water or whatever the heck on the floor in here, you'll be able to just kind of swoosh it into the drain and then it'll just go down into the culvert. A culvert is designed to move water, so that's what it's going to do. Because I know there was concern that there was no drain in here, but this is going to double as a fresh air intake / drain. So you go in here and it's really, really hot and you go outside and you're like, wow, it's refreshing, even though it's like 30 degrees Celsius with like 100% humidity. Holy, it's hot. But I got word that my wife might be showing up near the end of it. She's at work and she's a nurse, if you guys don't know that. So she works a 12-hour shift, so when she's off work, I'm going to tell her, I actually told her I'm firing up the sauna, so she's going to probably make it down to the property and perhaps have a sauna. So I'm looking forward to that. Maybe my dinner will be cooked by then and it won't be just a sausage party. All right, we're getting steamy in here. We're at 115.5. There seems to be a little bit of a haze in here. I don't know if it's sausage haze. I think my sausage might be done. My eyes are burning. Is that normal? I think I might take my sausage out. Sausage out either side while it cool off. Maybe vent it a little bit. Get rid of that sausage haze. Probably shouldn't barbecue on that. Oh, I got my sausage. I know a lot of you guys like putting lots of stuff on your sausage. You know what I like on my sausage? Sweet baby rays. I already discovered something I need. I need cup holders. Sauce holders. So I got my drink down here. Got my root beer. Oh, that's well done. I'm not sure exactly the protocol. You're supposed to eat your sausage in the sauna while you're having a sauna. I don't know, did you smell like sausage at the end of it? I don't know. I was told that having a pond would attract more mosquitoes and there'd be lots of mosquitoes and they would eat you alive. I don't see any mosquitoes. None. I don't know if cooking on a sauna is the most efficient way to cook food, but... How was work, honey?
Long and busy.
All right, we got the sauna fired up for you. Guess how hot it is in there?
I have no idea.
It's 140.
Oh God.
Okay, well. All right, so we're gonna go in there and we're going proper sauna. So I don't think it's exactly YouTube friendly. So I'm gonna leave it at that. The crows say hello, but we're gonna go enjoy ourselves. And anyways, you guys join me on the next one. Well, I think it's working. Holy! It's hot in here. I am drippy. I think this is the drippiest I've ever been in my life. Holy. It's at like 150 degrees. With 100% humidity. How long are we supposed to stay in here before we're cooked? I feel like the sausage is just sweating out of me. Why do you keep throwing water on it? Just keep throwing water on it. I'll be in. Oh. Holy. Is your heart rate supposed to be going up? Oh. Alright, I think we're done. Are you done?
Now we need an outside shower.
Are you done?
Yes.
You gonna jump in the pond?
No.
Are you done?
No.
You're like just this big fog over here. That's probably good for YouTube. My wife's the big fog over there. Holy. It works. Works good. 2 thumbs up, but the other one's holding the camera and it's slippery. All right, well, like I said before, join me on the next one.